So let's get a head start for you, our investor viewers, on next week's market with our floor show traders. Kenny Polcari, let's get to you first. This morning it looked like the tech rout was over, but no. I mean, look at the NASDAQ. It's down 82. I would tell our viewers that the low of the session today was a loss of 203. But if you had to attach an emotion to the markets right now, what is it? Caution? Is it fear? Is it calm?
I think it's anxiousness, right? Because there's still a little, question about the pace and the speed at which this is all going to happen. We understand that rates are going up and that taper is going to stop. That the new genie in the bottle is the balance sheet reduction, and when is that going to happen? And so that's causing, I think, more anxiousness, not so much fear. I don't think long-term investors should be fearful. I think they should look for opportunities, but I just think it's a little bit uncomfortable at the moment because you don't really know yet.
Yeah, you don't know, but when you look at the losers versus the winners, Dow Jones Industrials losers, Home Depot, Nike, United Health, and then you see some of the NASDAQ winners, Walgreens Boots Alliance, which is also, of course, a Dow component. You got some gamers here, which is a big topic here at the Consumer Electronics Show, but, electronic arts, obviously, there are some pockets of real strength. Where are you kind of hunting those out, Kenny, and stashing some money?
So it's funny. So I'm hunting about in IBM. I'm hunting out in some consumer staples, but I'm also starting to look at, you're talking about space and you're talking about one end of space. I'm looking at a company called Redwire, which is about space infrastructure, which is going to be the kind of this new theme that's out there. RDW, the stock is down about 55, almost 60%. It trades at $5.50. But it's interesting what it's getting itself into in terms of space infrastructure and what people are going to be doing now in space. And so I'm starting to look at that one because it's just interesting. It's a different way to play kind of the space story that you were talking about today.
Yeah, we're going to be showing people quite an unbelievable development. It's not just one of these concepts. It's actually being built for the end of this century. The end of the decade. We won't be around for the end of the century. All right, Tom, let me get to your perspective right now. What are you buying? What are you selling? And how do you think next week plays out?
Yeah, well, Liz, we saw the Fed fund futures move from a 66% probability of a rate hike in March to a 70% probability after the report this morning. And what we're focused on is the last shall be first. If you look at sector performance and asset class performance over the last 20 years, within the next year or so, the laggards become leaders and the leaders fall from grace. So one laggard we like is industrials. They were the third worst performer in 2021. We think they're going to be in the top three in 2022. They're going to grow earnings 35% next year versus the S&P at 9%. In that context, we like Boeing. They got 2 new orders this week. They're down 50% from their pre-pandemic highs. They got 19 777 freighters from Atlas Air. They got 50 737 MAX orders from Allegiant. Allegiant hasn't done business from them before. They took that share from Airbus. And the Chinese gave them the plan for recertification in December. That should be completed in a few weeks. That is going to be a big catalyst moving forward. And then in terms of asset class, emerging markets was the worst. In 2021. We think it's going to be in the top in 2022. China is the biggest part of that weight, and you saw some really smart value investors this week. Charlie Munger doubled down on his double down from Q3 to Q4 of Alibaba. This has been a very controversial stock. It's up 15 to 20% in the last couple weeks off its recent low. They've grown cash flow and earnings per share by 500% since their IPO in 2014. And last month, you could buy it at 2014 prices. Charlie was scooping it up. I was scooping it up. And I think there's a great runway over the next 1 to 3 years. China will be the only country easing monetary and fiscal policy in 2022, while the rest of the developed world is tightening. We see an opportunity.
Well, possibly. And that makes you wonder, will the Fed hold on to its sort of telegraph promise that it will start raising rates in just a month or two? Kenny, Tom, great to see you. Thank you very much. Check the Dow up 127 points. We got this Fox Business Alert from the casinos of Sin City to mobile.